Hello, my dear babies. How are you today? Doing good? Great. So, I'm back again with another lesson of life skills, and today we are going to talk about the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. So, what is this 3 R's about? They are about containing pollution in the environment and making our environment clean and green. And how do we use these 3 R's? The first one is reduce. So what is reduce? Reduce means reduce the amount of wastage that we do when we use everything around us. Like when we go out of the room, so sometimes we leave the lights and fans and the ACs on. So it's such a wastage of electricity. So we have to reduce this wastage. So what should we do? We should switch off the fans, the lights, the ACs whenever we go out of the room. Do you do that? I'm sure you do. So another wastage is the wastage of water that we do when we use the washroom. Sometimes some of us leave the taps on, so the water keeps running and that water is completely a waste. So we have to reduce that waste now. So what do we have to ensure? That whenever we use the washroom, whenever we put on the taps for bathing, for washing hands, you have to turn the tap off whenever you stop using the water. Immediately turn the tap off so that the water is not wasted. Okay? So in the same way we can really reduce the amount of wastage in the other things also, like the food we eat. Put only that much amount of food that we require. Put a little amount in this plate, and when we finished, if we still feel hungry, we can put in some more. But be sure that you don't waste the food that you've put in the plate. Okay? So the second R we're going to talk about is reuse. You know, there's so many things around us which we can really reuse, but instead of reusing our old items, what do? We throw them away. And once we throw them, everybody of us throws our old items away. There's so much of litter, pollution, and so much of wastage and garbage, and that makes our environment so polluted. So we should make sure that whatever item that we can reuse in our home, we should try to reuse. So today we are going to do an art activity, where I'm going to reuse some old plastic bottles and boxes that I have in my house. So instead of throwing them away, I'm going to reuse them to make beautiful planters for my home. Isn't it exciting? Okay. So before we start that activity, I'm going to talk about the third R also, which is recycle. So recycling basically means that we use some materials like plastic and glass and metals. These can be recycled and made new in the factories, recycle factories that we have. So we segregate the garbage that we throw out, keep the plastics, the glass, the metals in separate containers, and then the person who collects the garbage, he can take them away and give them to the recycle factories. And you know, so many new items can be made out of recycling plastics and even glass and even metals, and so many things can be recycled. And even paper, out of our own old paper, our books, our notebooks, if we give them to the person who can use them to recycle that paper and make new paper out of it. So we should all ensure that whatever items that we use, we should make the minimum amount of wastage and try to reuse, reduce the wastage and recycle our items so that the pollution is at the minimum. and so we can all feel so, breathe so well and breathe clean air. Wouldn't you like it? Yes. So remember the 3 R's: reduce, reuse and recycle. So babies, I've got this empty water bottle. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to throw it away. I'm going to use it to grow some plants. Isn't it fun? So first of all, what we'll do is, we'll take a marker and we'll mark the shape of these 2 ears and the body of a cat. Okay, we're going to cut it like this. So we're going to mark it like this with a marker. Okay, and after this we are going to cut it on these lines first with a cutter. So be sure to tell your parents to cut it for you, because I don't want the small babies to be using these kinds of cutters. Okay, so tell your parents or the grown-ups to help you. Then just cut the bottle like this first with a cutter. So babies, I've got this red and white color and I've mixed them to make a pink color. And now I'm going to color this bottle this side pink. Okay, and can you see these 2 ears on the, like they're there on the head of a cat? So we've cut this like this, the ears are here, and we are going to color this pink. Okay, the whole bottle like this. You can use the acrylic colors that you have, and you can color the bottle like this. So babies, I've painted the whole thing and I left it to dry, and now that it is dry, now we are going to paint the face of the cat on it. So first of all, we are going to paint these ears of the cat like this. Use a marker and black marker, and then we can make the ears, the eyes, eyebrows, the nose, then the whiskers, and I have these googly eyes, so I've pasted the googly eyes with the Fevicol. Okay, so the googly eyes. So can you see this face of the cat? Isn't it looking nice? Our planter is ready. So now we are going to plant the plant in this. Put the plant in there. Okay, so we take a little bit of this mud, put it here, now let's put the planter. The roots are there, so we're going to put them very carefully in this planter like this. Okay, we can put the rest of the mud also like this in here. Ready? Now put a little bit of water, and our planter is ready, the beautiful catty planter. And we made this with the bottle, an old bottle. So isn't it a good way of reusing your plastics, so that we don't spoil the environment, you don't throw it away, but reuse the plastic, the glass containers. And in a similar way, this is an old box that I have, So what I'm going to do is, it's already got a good base in there. So I'm going to put a little bit of mud in here, like this, and I can put the other planter in this, like this, right, and my planters are ready. So will you make similar things at home with the old plastic things and the old boxes that you have? Great.
Hello, I am the Earth. Yup, the very planet you live on. There are 3 words which start with the letter R, which I love. They are reduce, reuse, and recycle. Do you know why I love them so much? Because they are almost magical words. They can make all living things, as well as myself, be happier. I said that they are almost magical because without your help, it won't work. They need all of you children in order to do the trick. Each and every one of you are the real 3 R's magicians, those 3 words which can change the world. Do you want to know how? Yes? Well, let's find out. The first R is for reduce. If you think about it, there are many things you don't need. When you go to the supermarket, I'm sure you can take your own canvas bags instead of using disposable ones given to you. Like that, you will be reducing the amount of plastic, which is very contaminating. And I'm sure that you don't need to print out so many documents or photos, nor leave lights, television, or computers on when you're not using them. If you remember this, you'll be reducing the amount of paper being used as well as energy, and in turn will be helping to reduce the contamination. And these are just a few examples. I am sure you can think of many more different ways to reduce what you are using or creating unnecessary waste. The following question will help you with this task. Do I really need this, or is this just a whim? The second R is for recycling. Now, it is easier than ever to recycle things we don't need anymore so that they can be reused. Near your home, you can find places like the recycling station and containers for cans, plastic, paper, or organic waste. They each have specific colors to make it easier to identify. By using them, you will avoid contaminating nature, the rivers and seas, as well as the atmosphere, which is the air we breathe. And finally, we have the third R, which refers to reuse. How many things do you think we can reuse again and again instead of throwing them away? Let's see. A piece of paper that has only one side printed on, a carton box, a plastic bottle. You think now. With just a little bit of imagination, I'm sure you can come up with many more exciting and fun new uses for them. And remember, if you apply the 3 R's rule, you will make me a much cleaner planet with less contamination and where we can all enjoy a better life. Because, as you know, children can make the world of difference.